We are very privileged to be joined today by Dr April Weiss of the Australian National University. April, thank you so much for joining us today.
That's a pleasure.
Thank
you for having me. I was interested in helping them progress their learning approach, and at the time it was all about online learning. And I thought, how on earth does anyone make any change in an organisation like this? Because it's never fully centralised, they're very heavily decentralised. And so I became focused on what do people need at a university and how do you make that change? When we are working on audiovisual, which we like to call learning space technology here, because AV is like, it's a point in time when there was only AV equipment. So when we're working on learning space technology, we like to gather together the people who are using the room, the people who are making decisions about the room, the people who will be representing others perhaps with accessibility, disability needs, and so on. Bring them all together. So we had our human-centered design people running the last session.
Right.
And one of them is an academic as well.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So there was a lot of discussion. And then we do take it away and work out, well, what can we do? Because we were very time limited. It's what does the university need from an individual's perspective? But when you have over 1,600 rooms with AV in it, how do you manage that? How do you maintain that? It certainly opened the university's eyes,
right? Because
I, was running the online learning program, and this university likes people to come in and work with the, the outstanding academics they have, and they like the students to be physically present.
Yeah.
So with online learning, I was challenged every time I had to do a budgetary uplift. They would always say, do we really need that? Do we really need as much of that as we have? Universities, as in any large organisation, presents very large problems, and I love that.
Right. So you're a problem solver.
Definitely a problem solver, and very keen to move a university from A to B. So whether it's where we are now with technology, where we need to be, and many times we don't know where we need to be. So it's working out where do we need to be, what is coming up in audiovisual. It's my work that I do in the space is, first of all, understanding, is this the right place? Do we need to move in that direction? And then how can we fund it? How can we get people interested? And, because there's many things vying for budget in a university.
Yes.
So it is, how do we fund it? How do we get people interested? How do we get the academics interested in a remote support, for example? So that's what I find fascinating. And then it's like, how do we make this huge shift? Because where we were in just having enough funding to scrape by to upgrade a few rooms every year, to where we are now and able to move down a path that we're moving down, it has been an enormous undertaking. So while I was looking for more funding in the AV space, ITS as a whole was working on the digital master plan, and pulling together a really comprehensive plan with a lot of input from the university. And it was, again, opportunistic because we were ready with what we wanted to do in AV. And so we were able to, situate ourselves nicely. After that, the university put together a learning and teaching strategy.
Of course.
And they basically came to us and said, okay, let's talk about where we could be with the teaching spaces, what we could be doing. So again, had that opportunity to partner with the university and pull together the learning and teaching, a component of the learning and teaching strategy that was dedicated to these magnificent spaces and ensuring that staff had the right technology to teach.